Everybody, welcome back. It's Bill, the Bill Show, riding with Bill in the Tesla. So, there's a few things. I don't really need the sunglasses right now. Sorry, I don't have a mount for the phone, so anyway. But YouTube, love YouTube. Love watching car videos on YouTube. It's actually where I learned probably 95% everything I know about the Teslas before I ever bought one. I even rented one up in Denver. And that's how I fell in love with them. There's I don't necessarily want to call it misinformation out there, but there is this common theme kind of running now against touchscreens. A lot of the car media, especially it seems to be the old school ones like Road and Track or Car and Driver. Doug DeMuro doesn't really do it as much, but there's this one guy, English guy. I've seen him on Electrify. He's actually doing a piece for Road and Track, and it just really, I hear this all the time, and it annoys me from these car journalists. They complain about lack of buttons in a car. And if you've never been in a Tesla, there is the large 15 or 17 inch, depending on the model, touchscreen in the middle of the car. It controls almost everything in the car. All the controls are there. The controls that are not there, the window switches for the power windows, the buttons on the doors, the electric buttons to release the doors. There are emergency backups in case, but rarely need to use those. And then on the steering wheel, there's two knobs, which do a lot of different functions. They're scroll wheel knobs, so they push in, they click right, click left, volume up, down, different things up, down, so they scroll up and down, and they push in. So there's two buttons there. There's the turn signal stalk on the right, which is also a multi-function switch, if you will, I guess. It's got a button on the end, which does multiple functions. And then on the left, there right now, at least in the Model 3 and a Model X and S, the new ones with the yoke are a little different. But then on the left, you've got your traditional place for a turn signal stalk, which again also has other functions, including a button on the end, which will hit for your wipers to at least do a mist cycle, or a one single wipe. But also you push it all the way in, and then it squirts. So it has multiple functions, but that's it. So there's literally, and then there's a four-way hazard button up top. So there's literally 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, because the 4 switches for the windows, 8, 9, 10, 11 buttons. That's it. Now, my history is I like Fords, so I traded in my Ford F-150 on this, which had a lot more buttons than that. And I've had a couple of Mustangs, which again have a ton of buttons. I had to take the car in. Actually, I cracked the glass roof that you see up here. That's a whole nother story, because there's people that have issues that don't want all the sun coming in. It's like, I'm in Florida, and it's sunny here all the time, and that is just the natural tint that Tesla ships with it, and it's UV coated, and you do not get a lot of solar gain from that at all, because otherwise I'd have it covered. So anyway, but there's this thing against buttons. So I had to take the car in. I rented a Mustang convertible at the airport, and I got in it, and I'm like, wow. And I've driven Fords. I'm very familiar with the Ford. And it took several minutes for me to get reaccustomed to, and I counted, I think there were 80 buttons in there. And sometimes you had buttons for multiple buttons for the same function, like volume control. You'd have a volume control button on the steering wheel and another volume control somewhere else, and it's like redundant buttons. I'm like, oh my God, enough buttons already. Why can't it just be simple on the center screen? So everything's there, you can find it, and boom, you're done. So the problem, I think, with these car journalists complaining about buttons is they're not driving that car for more than a week or two. They're not owning it. They're not driving it for a year or two, and that's predominantly their only vehicle. Because they complain that they just can't find things on the screen, and I'm like, it's right there. It's one tap away. And so you got to take this with a grain of salt. These guys are in a different vehicle every week sometimes, or even more. So they have to try and get familiarized with a car that they're not going to have for very long, so they don't do it. Drive a Tesla for 6 months, and you will not ever want to go back to physical buttons everywhere. It's insane. It is insane, the amount of buttons that are in cars. The good part about the Tesla, software update last Christmas it happened. Hopefully we're going to get another big update this Christmas. We got a firmware update. It downloads. You install it from your app. It's awesome. I love getting updates. I just got back into the full self-driving beta. Yay. And it is so much better than it was about 9 months ago, 6 or 9 months ago when I got in the first time. I think that was 10.3, the version. And it was not ready for prime time. Not. It was bad. So I immediately emailed Tesla and said, hey, take me out. Please, take me out. I'm not ready for it. Because I drive too much. So I've had my car now just right at, God, just a couple weeks over, but right at 2 years now. Getting ready to put on the third set of tires. I changed the first ones a little early because I got new wheels. So I was dying and anxious to get the new ones on. So I've also then, I bought this car slightly used. She was 2 months old and had 1,200 miles on her. So it was almost new, just slightly used. Whoever drove it before, apparently came up out of Atlanta, because this is the base Model 3. The only option I have is the white interior. There's no floor mats that come on the base model. It's weird. It's one of Tesla does some weird things, and I'm a Tesla fanboy, so I can say that. But the no floor mat, I mean, but they're cheap, basic floor mats anyway, so I immediately got the good floor mats, but it took a solid hour of vacuuming to get all the dirt out of the carpet because there had not been any floor mats. But anyway, so 2 years old now, just slightly over. I've had her for 2 years, and so she's actually about 2.5 months. Sorry, squirrel. I've driven it now for a little over 2 years, and I've put 69,000 miles on it. Sorry, my turn's coming up. And we're in full self-driving, so we'll see how she handles the turn. She did pretty good yesterday on it. So 68,000, 69,000 miles now. I've driven it, and I tell you what, I would never, ever want to go back to the dash full of 100 buttons. And I'm not exaggerating. It was, I quit counting at some point. I think I lost count. But it was over 80 buttons in the Mustang convertible. It's insane. Now, the new Mustang coming out is finally going with a nice big touchscreen. Part of the dash, too. It looks really good. And they've eliminated a ton of buttons. Bravo, thank God. The Model E and the F-150 Lightning have gotten rid of a lot of buttons. I'm good with that. Very good with that. The less buttons, the better. Okay, so we're coming up on our turn. Let's see how she does here.
Now turn left onto Joe Foley Road.
I like still having the directions going because I still like to see the map. So she's pausing. We've got it clear. And she's executing the turn. A little wide.
Now bear right to stay on Joe Foley Road.
Bravo. Bravo. You did good on that. Now here's coming an unprotected left turn
In
at another
500
stop
feet,
sign.
turn left onto
Let's see
County
how she
Road
does.
87.
Let's see.
Now turn left
We're
onto
following
County
it.
Road 87.
Following a truck, just a little light truck. But I do know on the, there's an 18-wheeler coming. Damn it. There's a creek going on too. She goes in for service on Monday. Go. Good girl. Oh, beautiful. I love the acceleration. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. And I'm critiquing the full self-driving because it's been like 6 months or 9 months, whatever that was. I'd have to look up the email where I sent them to get me out on, and it was not pretty. But it's beta. It's learning. It's getting better and better. And so that's also part of the, I don't want to say issue, or part of the, oops, dead squirrel. Part of the button situation and the large touchscreen. We are going to have true self-driving cars, and with the advance that I've seen in the last 6 to 9 months on full self-driving, it's going to be happening really soon, which I am dying for. I've always thought it would be way cool ever since I was a little kid. You saw the Jetsons. I grew up on that. I mean, is it going to fly? No. But if it can, Elon will figure it out. Alright, I got to see about getting around this truck. That's how you get good rock chips. Alright, we got it. Oh, there's a little truck still. I got to get over in front of the big truck. I don't have enough time to get around the little truck. Oh, I guess I could have. It's a Chevy. At least it's not a Dodge. Dude, come on. I hate it. That's the only bad part about these back roads. These country folk who don't know what the accelerator pedal is. It's the one on the right, by the way. And I'm not counting those as buttons on any vehicle. So, let's see if I can get around them. There's a car coming. I like the little two-lane roads. The autopilot does really well on it. Full self-driving does even better. And we've got version 11 coming of full self-driving, which is integrating the code from highway self-driving or autopilot and full self-driving city streets. And again, everybody who says, oh, well, the full self-driving isn't really, driving the car itself, and Mercedes system is better. Now, I have not driven a Mercedes with their advanced cruise control, whatever you want to call it, but it's basically a good lane keeping system, and will switch lanes. And again, the auto journalists again aren't living with the Tesla and driving it every day for a year and putting 30,000 miles on it in a year, so they're not that familiar with it. But the autopilot on the highway system, the one that every Tesla comes standard with, is really good, and that's a 4-year-old computer system now. That code is verging on 4 years old now. Has it been tweaked, obviously, but that new version with version 11, where it integrates the autopilot highway and the city street, is going to be amazing. So I'm so anxious now. At first I was upset because I lost the radar in my car, because mine's a 2020. It's a September build, so it was old enough to have radar, but new enough to have the bigger front, the redesigned front. But it was 2 months too new to get the the air conditioning heat. What do you call that? Heat pump. God, sorry, I blanked out there. I don't edit these either, so this is just raw. You're just riding with me like we're chit-chatting, like you were sitting right here. So anyway, again, buttons, bad. Touchscreen, good. So the thing is once these autonomous systems get better and better, you don't need 8 billion buttons. And they talk about muscle memory. Is that true? Yes. Because the home row of the touch buttons on the screen changed slightly with the Christmas update. And of course, anytime you change something on things, people get a little cranky. So there were a lot of Tesla people who got a little cranky with that. But overall, I see how they changed it. They tweaked it because they listened to their customers and changed back a couple of things. Oops, that was a little hard braking, dear. We're coming up on a stop sign. There's a big F-250 or 350 in front of me. Alright, it's all clear. Oh, go, girl, go. You're good. Ooh, that creaking. That apparently is a upper control arm. The bushing's gotten dried out, so those are getting changed on Monday. That's my first repair, actually, besides the glass roof, was out of warranty. So, again, because I got 69,000 miles on it. And that's not bad. And I need to get tires again. So, but they're getting eaten. But I might be driving up to Kansas City in December, and definitely don't want to be driving on these tires. These are summer performance tires, and they're starting to get low on tread, so I'm not going to try Kansas City on those, because you never know what the weather's going to do up there. But it is sunny and beautiful today, the day before Thanksgiving, down here in the, well, I guess I've crossed over. I'm not in the panhandle of Florida anymore. I'm actually in Alabama, Baldwin County. So that's it. I just wanted to set the record straight on some of these things. The auto journalists, and the reason I say this is because I saw a video too. I like YouTube. Saw a video some time ago, and it was they were talking about auto technology, and they've gone back to the 1986 Buick Riviera, one of the first cars, the first that I know of. There could be another one out there. The first that I know of with a touchscreen. It was a CRT tube. It was green. It was like beep beep every time you hit it, and it was freaky. I loved it when I was a kid. Loved it, and I was in high school when that came out. But so if you know of a car that had touchscreen earlier than that, hit me up. Let me know, because I could be wrong, but I thought that was the first car, production car with touchscreen, not Kit, not Knight Rider. But actually, was that even a touchscreen? No, there was a shitload of buttons in the Kit. So anyway. That is, I think about, back in the 90s and 80s even, when the digital speedometers first were coming out, and some digital clusters, and the auto journalists hated it. You know, we need a gauge. You can just read a gauge a lot easier. Blah, 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 big blowhorns. And they actually killed a lot of digital dashes for a long time, because people listened to them. And it's like, don't kill the touchscreen. It's way better than a shitload of buttons, because it's just cleaner, it's simpler, it's so much easier to use, and once your car is halfway at least driving itself, you can use the touchscreen way easy. So anyway, that's the end of my rant, and God, it's gonna be a beautiful day. I can't wait. 4-day weekend. Woohoo! So probably watching a lot of YouTube. Anyway, that is it. The buttons are bad. And touchscreen all the way, except Volkswagen system, because come on. I've driven the ID4. The sunroof, the glass roof, was not UV rated or UV tinted, whatever, and you felt the sun pouring in. I'm like, nope, 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 and hit the button to close the sunscreen. But actually, it was a little swipe button. It's weird. And then there are weird slide buttons. And Mercedes has got a couple of those, and those are kind of weird. It's just, but anyway, no buttons. I hate buttons. So, although the new Mustang does have my eyes, so I don't know. Is she just sitting on the turn signal? We're getting ready to make a turn. God, those joints are creaking. Not my joints, the car. You're clear, honey. You can go. There you go. Beautiful. Beautiful. Oh my God. So for information, I'm on 10.69.3.1. I think was the last update that I got back in on full self-driving. Wowzers. Billions of years ahead from the one I was on, which was like 10.3. So anyway, that's about it, kids. Subscribe if you want. Every once in a while I do these videos. If I could do more. But anyway, I am Tesla biased. I've been driving this car a little over 2 years now. Almost 70,000 miles I've put on it. And it's amazing. So I think it's just the best vehicle you could buy. My range has been consistent. I haven't lost any range, actually. Degradation or whatever. I've still got 220-ish miles. Which is what I had on it when I bought it. So it's great. It's fast. It's fun. And this is the slow one. 0 to 60 in 5.3. But it's wicked fast. It's plenty fast. And I like fast. So that's it. Have fun. Talk to you guys later.